Good evening, friends. I'm really happy to be in Singapore again, and especially to meet many old and many new Dharma friends today. Nothing has really changed. Everybody looks still handsome and beautiful, but definitely the weather is too hot here. Yeah? I'm very happy this time that I have this opportunity to share with you the importance of Bardo teaching, because this is something going to happen, not something it may not happen. And here we have lots of opportunities to make sure that when we face such situation, we are able and prepared to overcome all the hurdles or so-called obstacles along our difficult journey. Today, this discussion is not just well discussed among many different schools in Buddhism. Even non-Buddhists are having interest, start to have an interest to learn about such discussion because this is very unique. One will only see in the teachings of Tantrayana. Last year when I was in Boston, I was invited to Canada. There's a group called, I forgot the name of the organization, but there's a big group. There are many doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, and of course people who care for the individuals. So they asked me to give share this discussion with them. So I did, and many of them said that they find this very, very useful, because after all that one day we have to take this journey, and also not only for us. Sometimes we really don't know how to comfort and give assurance to dying people. What we're going to tell them, and how we're going to tell them that time has come. And Bardo teachings gives us a lot of information, in fact, a lot of advice how to actually help these individuals. Therefore, many people even in West start to have great interest about Bardo teachings. Bardo, what does Bardo mean? Bardo literally means between. It's like a corridor. It's a between this life and next life. And many of us tend to have this misperception about the Bardo discussion. When you listen to Bardo discussion, we always tend to think about next life. But in fact, Bardo also discusses this life, how to prepare ourselves when we are still alive. Because when we are alive, this is the most important part of our life. Because what will happen moment after death or after we die depends on how we do now. So by knowing this life is more important. So we have to make sure that what we do is right, positive, and we should try our level best not to engage in act of evils. So to begin with the actual discussion, there are 4 kinds of Bardo, in fact 6 kinds of Bardo. Anyway, I will discuss further when we discuss more about this life of Bardo. Bardo of this life, which refers to our life. So in fact, we are also in Bardo. Bardo from previous life to this life and next life. So we are also in between, like a sandwich. So Bardo of this life. And the most important, what we're going to intensively discuss and share is the Bardo at the moment before death. This is the critical juncture. So I will emphasize more about this Bardo. And Bardo of Dharma, whereby when we miss all the opportunities, which I will explain one by one later, we will come across all the 100 deities will come to invite us. And if you somehow recognize one of them, just one of them, then you are free. But somehow there are many individuals still tend to fail to recognize 100 deities. So you end up with only two choices. Either you try to prevent entering the wombs of 6 realms, or somehow, again, if you fail, then you have to choose one of the womb where you can reborn and again start your new life. So this is called Bardo existence. So these are the 4 Bardos. In fact, 6 I will discuss later. Okay, page 3. Yeah. Okay, now before I discuss further, I would like to explain a little bit about the origin of this discussion. In fact, this teaching comes from Buddhas. Samantabhata Buddha, and later on, when you attend the initiation, there is a whole lineage how this teaching has passed down. Guru Padmasambhava is the last one who received this teaching. Am I too soft?
Can you hear?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, probably this is what happens in Bardo, if you don't practice from now. Okay, so Guru Padmasambhava was the one who brought this teaching to Tibet. And before he left to Udayana, he had kept this teaching text in one of the rock in Tibet for the future generation. And one of the 24 disciples known as Karma Lingpa, as Guru Rinpoche has advised and predicted, he rediscovered this teaching, and then he's the one who shared this first teaching with all other gurus. And earlier, this teaching was really practiced according to the Bardo Total among the Kagyu lineage. In Kagyu lineage, later on, it was spread to many other lineages. So this tells us the origin of this Bardo Total teaching, Bardo teaching. So this guarantee this is genuine and meaningful. So now let me also explain briefly. Total means whoever listens to such discussion. The moment you hear the names of the deities or mantra, you are instantly liberated. So there are 6 types of liberation from hearing. Bardo teaching could be one of the first. So we always advise, to family members when somebody is about to die and when somebody dies, before the body is cremated, you should read this Bardo Total. Could be in English, could be in Chinese, could be in Tibetan, whichever languages that you have the text. Because Bardo being they're able to understand and observe, so they don't really need translator in Bardo. And second is called wearing. There are many holy objects. So the moment you put on these objects, you will be liberated. There are many pendants called total, that you use as a pendant and you wear on the neck. And then there is seeing, the liberation through seeing, such like the black head of 16 Kamapas. The moment when you have the blessing of black heads, and there are many other holy objects. We are supposed to be liberated by just seeing. So the fourth one is called remembering, liberation through remembering, such as the Bardo discussion, by remembering the deities when we're in Bardo, by just remembering these deities, the teaching or instruction that what we receive now, or when you read from the books, instantly you are liberated. This is something that you will learn when we discuss further down. And through tasting, of course it's not a chocolate, okay? Through tasting, we are also able to liberate. There are many Dharma pills, holy relics. You know, like when somebody is about to die, normally we use money pill or holy relics or any Dharma pill put inside the mouth of dying person. This is supposed to help the dying person. That's what we normally do. It's called tasting. And finally, through touching. Probably this is kind of blessing, or by receiving the blessing of holy objects. And like for instance, when you know, like Rinpoches or Lamas or qualified Guru, when they bless, they are not just touching the 5 finger, you know, touching their hands on your hand, but actually what they normally do is they visualize this 5 finger as a 5 Buddha family. So through deep meditation, they're actually transmitting, or you know, all the blessing of 5 Buddha family to the individual who need blessing. So that's what it means. Okay. So these are the 6 different forms of liberation. Okay, so now to begin with the first part, which is the part of this life. This Bardo discussion has 3 subjects: Bardo of birth, and Bardo of dreams, and Bardo of meditation. So these are the 3 Bardo to help us in this life, how to make our life more meaningful. Because if we can prepare now, and if we can make our life more meaningful this life, and the coming life will be much, much brighter, better. Therefore, it is very important. For now, we need to prepare, not bring the Bardo, okay? So now, Bardo of birth, I would just like to go briefly. What this Bardo tells us is that, you know, most of the time, we are busy with so many things. From morning until we go to bed. Maybe we have a commitment to our families or school at work, so we are always busy. But however, this doesn't excuse us to not to go through difficulties when we are in Bardo. So even we may be very busy, still we need to find some time to learn about Bardo. It is very, very important. The reason why it is so important is because nobody can guarantee what will happen tomorrow. We may prepare for 10 years ahead, you know, but we really don't know. We really don't know what will happen even tonight. Therefore, Bardo discussion, teaching, practice is something, not something we should learn in the future. This is the moment. This is the right moment, and from now we have to start learning Bardo discussion, teaching, because life is impermanent, and many times why we are not able to practice could be, as I mentioned earlier, due to our commitment with the family, and we have many excuses. But when you really look seriously, the main reason could be laziness. So we have to make sure that this is not the case, and we should try our best. You know, many times I was asked this question again and again. You know, why I fall asleep every time I recite mantras, or every time I start to read Dharma books, or every time I start to meditate. And there's no other reason why this happens. It's simply because of laziness. Or maybe sometimes you're right, maybe you're very tired, so this happened. So I had many friends, Dharma friends, and when they are not able to sleep well, they always read Dharma books and they fall asleep immediately. Or so this is like sleeping pill for many Dharma friends. Okay, so how are we going to begin? This is a question again asked again and again and again. How are we going to practice? I know Bardo is so important. How are we going to begin? Okay, this is how we should practice. The first step is to listen to discussion. That's what we are doing now. And or you can read about, later on, you can read about Bardo teachings. And then once you read or once you read the Bardo discussion or teachings, book on Bardo, you should contemplate. That means you should think over again and again. This is one of the best way to retain one of the discussions that we have shared with each other, because this will help you in Bardos. And finally, whatever you have learned and read about Bardo, then we have to put into practice. This is what we're going to discuss when you go farther down. So this will help you. Such acts will help us to give rise to three wisdom, rise to wisdom through listening, through contemplation, through meditation. So this is the way to acquire three different forms of wisdom. So 12 here. Now this is the Bardo of birth. Now the second Bardo is the Bardo of dream. So many times as an ordinary person, we need sleep. And according to recent research done by Harvard University and many professors, they found that you need to sleep at least 8 hours for your good health. And in fact, some of the research also showed that people who sleep afternoon, at least half an hour, it prolongs your life. You are like 37%, the danger of heart disease goes down, and you tend to have less stress. When you sleep afternoon, it reduces your stress. So it is meaningful, of course. But sleeping, it is meaningful physically, but what this Bardo teaching help us to achieve is, even mentally, we can make a lot of spiritual progress, achievement through sleeping. So that's what we learn from Bardo of dreams. Definitely now is not the right time to sleep. Huh? Okay, so there is such practice called dream yoga, and this lineage practice is still very much present. And people who complete full foundation when they go to retreat, and this instruction is given among the 6 Nara Yoga practices. So normally when we sleep, it is physically, it is nurturing our body, it nurtures our body, but there's no spiritual gain. But when you include such a dream yoga practice, then even spiritually you are able to gain so much by sleeping. Like for instance, I will just explain very briefly, because this is not supposed to share in public. I was so surprised when I attended the first class at Harvard, and I was so shocked that I was listening to the teaching of 6 Nara Yogas. And it was very shocking for me, because many of them even were not Buddhists. But anyway, so how we learn this and how we practice the yoga of dream is, you are like, you are instructed, and then you are asked to fall asleep. So you are told, okay, you need to sleep. I need to tell myself, okay, I want to sleep now. And then when I fall asleep, then I will recognize that I'm in sleep. And then when you gradually master such technique, then you are able to travel many far places, many different pure land. This is a very meaningful practices because then you can go to Amitabha Pure Land. You don't have to wait until you die. And it is also not guaranteed that we will go to Amitabha Pure Land. So better when you're still alive, you can visit. That would be much better. And then also you are able to go visit different Buddhas to receive different teaching from different Buddhas, which help us to again acquire spiritual growth. So there is a lot of meaning when we do such practices. Too long. One time I was asked a question by one of the Dharma friends. He said, Rinpoche, I know everybody wants to reborn in Amitabha Pure Land, but he said he has a doubt. I said, what kind of doubt do you have? He said, suppose if I reborn in Amitabha Pure Land, what am I supposed to do? Are there any restaurants? Or are there any places that I can visit? Or it's just Buddha, Buddha, Buddha? I may get bored after sometimes seeing all the Buddhas. When you practice later, it will be really meaningful. Even sometimes we tend to recognize dream, but somehow maybe due to our strong habitual tendencies, we are not able to hold back what we dream. Like for instance, sometimes you may dream, you may have a nightmare in your dreams, and you will recognize in your dream, oh, I'm dreaming. The moment you recognize, all the fear just dissolves. And this is how one can improve the practice of dream yoga. But this is something we can learn later. I will tell you a story. Probably not even 100 years ago, I heard a story from Nyingma Rinpoche's monastery in Tibet, Beijing. One of the retreat master who has mastered this practice of dream yoga. So he was able to travel everywhere without physical body, just with a mental body. So the monastery actually bought, we call it, there's something on the top of the monastery. There's I think we call it genjari. There's like a shape of like a vase in the middle of the monastery on the top, on the rooftop. So they managed to buy this from Nepal, but nobody knew how to fix this, how to install that on the roof of top of the roof, on the top of the roof. So this monk's body requested this master to go to Nepal and see how they installed this. So he said, okay, let me go to sleep. So I think the next day, or I could remember. I think next day, the same day, he went to sleep. So he flew to Nepal. Okay, then he looked at how these people in Nepal installed this ganjari. So he came back and told the monk body, okay, this is how you should install. So then after that, some people came from Nepal, and how we installed was exactly how they did. So it's really amazing. Probably next time you may be able to practice. It's not something impossible. Okay, now finally we are coming to the Bardo of meditation. So this is simply meditation that what we practice every day. Now, meditation is not just sitting and thinking something. Meditation means like whenever thought arises, or whenever thought ceases, wherever thought resides, as long as you're aware of these thoughts, then you are in meditation. So one not necessarily has to sit in meditation posture to meditate. One could be eating, one could be walking, one could be sitting. As long as you are able to recognize the thoughts that are arising, ceasing, then you are in meditation. Or as You may be sitting in meditation posture, looking very serious, but not necessarily mean that you are in meditation. So basically, you have to be always mindful and be aware of your surrounding. And as long as you are able to do that, then you are in meditation. So, our mind is like the prisoner. If you let your mind be free, the mind will never try to run away from you. The moment you try to imprison our mind, then mind will always try to run away from you. Which means we cannot put a lot of stress. We should not try to control our thoughts seriously and strongly, because then it makes worse. What is important is to be always aware and mindful throughout your practice. Briefly speaking, there are two stages of meditation. The first stage is to construct a Tara, for instance, yourself in the form of Tara, which is to help us to abandon attachment to self. So instead of looking yourself as we are, we should look as your Tara. So this helps us to reduce attachment to self. So when you maintain such pride for a long time, then eventually you tend to develop attachment to Tara. So again, this becomes a source of suffering. So this is the time we dissolve ourselves into the universe or emptiness. So there's nothing to hold upon. So these are the two stages of meditation, which we call generation stage and completion stage. So now we will discuss the second Bardo, which is the Bardo moment before death. Now, Bardo moment before death. So this is the critical and most important part of the discussion. And a practitioner, since they will know, the great practitioner will know when they're going to die. You may hear many stories, Guru telling that, oh, this year, this month I will die. Because they're able to count the breath, that how many wisdom breath we are able to hold, and how many unwanted breath that is like removed from our body. So if you are a great practitioner of power, if you are qualified to do power yourself, and you know that you are dying, but if you are not sure, if you do your power yourself, then you're killing yourself. Okay? So you have to know exactly that you are dying. Then you sit in the meditation posture, and there is a way that you inject your consciousness to the heart of Amitabha Buddha. Okay? That's what one can do. Or if you are physically very difficult to do such a practice, then you can sleep like a Buddha, like Buddha attaining Paranirvana, like this. You have to strengthen your both leg and two leg and your left arm, and the right arm, should be below. Your cheek, right cheek should be lying on your right palm, and close your right nostril, and then like this. If you can die thinking of Amitabha Buddha, or you can do your power yourself. But if you can't do your power yourself, you can think about Amitabha Buddha or your gurus. Okay? Okay? And there are two things that we have to keep reminding ourselves and dying person. Not to have attachment to anything. Okay? Because attachment will let the soul keep wandering. The consciousness may not find the right place. So attachment. So we have to keep telling this dying person not to have attachment. We will take care of ourselves. Please don't worry. One has to speak gently, and also do not get angry. And anger is also will imprison the dying person. So anger, attachment, these are two main obstacles for all of us when we are dying. Okay, so now, most learned person, like suppose if you practice really well now, you don't have to go through all these 49 days. The moment comes, the process will explain when you go further down. We recognize the moment that instantly when we sit in meditation, so-called luminosity, instantly we become a Buddha. We obtain the body of Dharmakaya. So most great practitioners, they do not have to go through Bardo process. So person with the middling capacities will go through Bardo process, and and then person with the lesser capacity then end up with Bardo existence. So this is something I will explain now. Okay.
下根器的话。
So now, as I mentioned earlier about Powa, when we invite the guru to do Powa, you have to make sure that person is definitely dying. That means the external breathing stops. Remain with just internal breathing. External breathing will stop. Remain with slight breathing internally. And that is the time that we need to do Powa. Request for Powa. If you ask Powa before this timing take place, then the person still sees that somebody doing Powa, then you make more angry, So you simply, you go now, we are busy. So the person will take differently. So you make the dying person more angry, So you have to make sure that when to do request for the Powa, okay? You cannot call Rinpoche, somebody's dead already do Powa, but someone's still alive, then you make more angry. And it's also tend to have a lot of sin because our body, we will learn when we go further down, our body contains 100 deities. So you will also have the sin of killing 100 deities. Okay, so suppose your relatives or friend dies in somewhere else, not in Singapore, but this friend or family member who used to live in certain places, he or she likes certain places. So suppose a room that the person likes when the person was still alive. You can, even the physical body is not present, you can invite gurus to do Powa in the place where this person likes. So it is still okay. You can do Powa. No. Now, what happens is, the process when we go further down, it explains. When external breathing stops, you will live with the internal breathing. And that is the right time for Powa. Now, when this takes place, all the four elements, which I will explain one by one, will dissolve one after another. And also at the same time, there is supposed to be one, according to Bardo total, there is a white dot that remains in our crown, and there's from the father side, and from the mother side, there's a red dot reside below 4 inches below our navel. So what happens is, when we are dying, this two, at the same time with all this four elements dissolving one after another, these two dots will come closer and closer and closer. When it reaches heart, it merges together. Okay, when it merges together, this is a time most people will faint. They don't know what happened. They will just faint. Yeah, but a great practitioner, person who have practiced in this life, recognize and hope that grabs this moment and sit in meditation. The moment he or she is able to sit in meditation, instantly you attain liberation. period, the time depends on individuals. Depends on the purity of their beings and their karma. For instance, highly qualified teachers, the moment they die, when they instantly they sit into meditation, we call it first luminosity, and they may extend this moment for week, month. There are some cases even a year. Okay. So they may like most cases, I think Rinpoches or Lama, even laymen, laywomen, they're able to sit for 3 days to 1 week. They remain in samadhi. That shows that they're able to grab that moment of luminosity. This called first luminosity, when all these 4 elements dissolve one after another. Luminosity is the true essence of our mind. Which means it's not just when you say luminosity, it just doesn't mean just bright. It refers to the quality of our mind. So for instance, the self nature of our mind is empty. Mind is always empty. We cannot see the color of mind. Mind is always empty because we cannot hold. There's no physical form, so we cannot hold. It is empty. Okay? And the essence of mind is luminous. Luminous is not just empty space. Luminous means free from darkness of unknowing, which means full of clarity, full of wisdom, full of knowledge. Okay? And then finally, the appearances of mind is spontaneous. One cannot stop. One doesn't have to think. It just comes spontaneously. So this is this what mind is. So from now on, when we are still alive, when we're able to practice from now, and when the moment comes before we die, when the first luminosity appears, instantly when you're able to sit in such state, instantly you are liberated. You become a Buddha. So you don't have to go further down. So for most people, according to the Bardo total, the length they remain after they die, the time is like eating one good meal. The duration of eating a meal, then it could be 1 hour or half an hour, 1 meal. But the great practitioner, they're able to stay longer and longer. Now, when you somehow miss the first, recognize the first luminosity, then you have a second chance, which is called second luminosity. So what happens is, during the first luminosity, you are able to channel your consciousness straight from your heart, from your crown to Amitabha's heart. You eject your consciousness, okay? But somehow, if you are not able to do that, because we are still ordinary beings, we miss this opportunity, then we enter the second stage, which is called second luminosity. And that moment, what happens is somehow your consciousness have escaped from the right of the left of your nose, from the eye, or wherever. Yet you still don't know that you have died. But you will still see your family member crying or laughing, whatever, you will see, but you don't know that you are already died. You are dead, okay? So once again, when we read this Bardo total, therefore, many gurus said that, even Bardo total explains that, this could be the most precious gift that you can give to your dying family or friend. You can read in English, you can read in Chinese or in Tibetan, whichever languages that you are able to read. As long as you read it clearly with your good intention, good heart, the person is able to hear and understand. Because the Bardo person in the Bardo is 9 times smarter, cleverer than normal being. Because in Bardo, you don't have a physical body. You have a mental body, you know. So they're able to appreciate. But your intention has to be very good. If you think, oh, it's good he died or she died, I'm so happy, you know. You deserve that, you know. Then, then you will make more angry, you know. So until the body is present, you can recite this Bardo Total every night. And because when you recite, he or she is able to recall what he or she has learned when they are still alive. Like today, you are learning, so you will remember. So what happens is during the time of second luminosity, you have missed the first luminosity to recognize first luminosity. Once again, you know, you will have a chance to recognize, and many recognizes the second luminosity, which during this moment, what happens is like from now on, what I explained earlier, mind, the essence, the self-nature of mind is emptiness, and the essence is luminous, the appearance is spontaneous. So when you listen to such discussion, and then when somebody reads Bardo Todo, they are able to recollect whatever you have learned when you're still alive. So then instantly you recognize what luminosity means. This is called the sun-like luminosity. Today we are just visualizing and trying to understand through the word that we express. But eventually, when you master, one will really truly recognizes the luminosity, which again words cannot really express. So what happens is today what you will have learned the luminosity and the luminosity which is omnipresent. These two merges together, become just one. In a luminosity which is present everywhere, which is called omnipresent, and the luminosity that what we have learned and practiced, when this merge together, instantly you will be liberated. You obtain the body of Dharmakaya. Total, the teaching is like practice test. You are practicing from now what to do, and when the moment comes, you are prepared. So this, you know, I remember one story a long time back. I had a story. I don't know I don't know which part of Europe. The Central Lama, you know, one of their member died, father died, and the Lama was a bit upset. You know, Lama did recitation mantras for the deceased person, and then Lama tried to console his son. So please don't worry. Impermanence. One day we all have to go. That's what we always tell, you know. We have to go. Please don't worry. We will pray for him. So he said, Lama, don't worry. I'm very happy. He said, my father is gone now. I have everything. So this is the process. What happens, you know, the moment comes. When external breathing stops, and then slowly when the internal breathing stops, this is the process that takes place. You know, when our body is made of 5 elements, yeah, and when the earth element dissolves into the water, we body tend to feel very stiff, and you know, we are not anymore flexible. Body becomes very stiff. That is the sign that earth element is dissolving into water. Yeah, and when water element dissolves into fire, the dying person tend to feel very thirsty, or tend to feel very dry. You want to go with that first? when the fire element dissolves into wind, and that is the time we slowly, the person slowly tend to lose body heat, and the body becomes colder and colder, that we can all see and experience by ourselves when you touch someone who is about to die. And finally, what happens is when wind element dissolve into the consciousness, that is the time that external breathing stops. External breathing and internal breathing, again, the time depends on the individuals, according to their the purity of their veins.
No.
Okay, 28. So during the same process, what also happens is, as I mentioned earlier, the dot, red and white and red dot, from the crown, white dot moves down, and the below from a navel, red dot moves up. When it reaches the heart, it merges together, and that's the time we die. Consciousness escapes from the physical body. According to Bardo Teaching, the person who's when this process takes place, the person will feel like moon rising, snow falling, this kind of feeling that person tend to go through. So during such time, when the physical body is still there, of course until 49 days, we are advised not to cry, not to show a lot of emotion, not to disturb the body. That means like the thing belonging, at least when the physical body is still present, the things belong to the dead person. We shouldn't remove, we shouldn't touch, because then this makes the dying person very angry. Even though the dead person may not have a physical body, but then this person is able to hear, see, feel, think, everything, Okay, so now what happens is like you have failed to recognize the first luminosity, and then you have failed to recognize second luminosity, yeah? So now the third luminosity, when you faint, when you wake up, then you may start to see the third luminosity. And during the third luminosity, all the deities, 100 deities, 42 peaceful deities, and 58 wrathful deities, they will all appear one after another in front of their space to invite this dead person. So the most critical advice to remember and to remind such person is to see all this deity as the display of our mind, because all the peaceful deity that actually radiates from the heart from our heart, and also most of the wrathful deities that actually radiate from the brain. So basically they are all residing inside us now. And in the Bardo, they simply come out and try to help us in the different ways. So now the person will know, that the consciousness will know that he or she has died. Then the suffering is so much because the person, the soul, the consciousness will see family member crying, that you are not able to communicate, and the sound that what you hear in Bardo is supposed to be like 1,000 times much more louder. And the light that you tend to experience in the Bardo is like 1,000 times more terrifying. So you are most of the time now frightened because of all this situation. Yet we still have a hope, because you are so worried, and you are always looking for an opportunity to escape from such environment. So you're always trying to listen and try to find a way. So when we read Bardo Todo, or then they're able to remember. When we make prayers, they're able to remember what they have learned, so instantly they can be liberated. So when we read Bardo Todo, this is one of the most meaningful and effective way to console and to give assurances to a dead person. Like for instance, as Bardo today explains, not to be afraid in Bardo, because what you are seeing is simply the projection of our mind, the display of our mind, and and also you don't have a physical body in Bardo. When you do not have a physical body, nobody can harm you. Now we are afraid because we have a physical body, but in Bardo there is no physical body. So what you are seeing is actually the reflection or the display of our mind. By consoling different ways, we are able to comfort the dead person and then guide this dead person to the right path. Okay, so now what happens is, all the 100 deities, first peaceful deities, then wrathful deities, they appear one after another. For dead person, or for when we are still alive, it is so important for us to look at the picture of 100 deities and make connection. So even if you recognize one of them, you are okay. I know it's to remember 100 will be impossible. Even if you just recognize one of them, you are instantly liberated. So during the third luminosity, your most important part of your practice is to just recognize one of them. Like for instance, there's a story in Tibet. There's a tradition of inviting lamas to recite Bardo Todo. So during the recitation, one old a lady was offering tea to monks, and during that very moment, the monk was reciting Bardo Todo, and then he spilled out the name of one of the 100 deities, wrathful deity known as snake-headed, snake-head deity. So she was a snakehead deity, snakehead deity, one of the wrathful. So she was in Bardo. When she saw all these Bardo 100 deities, she could recognize or poor enseignement. So somehow she missed one after another. Then she was almost missing almost all the chances. Suddenly, she recognized that serpent-headed deity. Oh, I heard about you in Lhasa. The moment she recognized, she was liberated. So from now on, when you are still alive, if you look at the pictures of 100 deities, so when you're in Bardo, you can tell, oh, I met you in Singapore. So you can introduce yourself. I'm so and so. Of course you can't shake your hand. That's impossible. I mean, when you see one of the 100 deities, then instantly you are liberated. So this is one of the advantage of being in third luminosity. Just to recognize one of them, that's good enough.
No.
I've heard many times that there are many questions are raised, like how about non-Buddhists? Do they see the same thing that what we see? So, if I'm strictly speaking, according to Bardo Todo, probably they may see the same thing, but they may not be able to recognize them. Many times I keep hearing, in fact I read some of the article that mentioned that they see lines, tunnel. Probably they are seeing the same light that what we're going to discuss shortly. We are coming quite close, a few more to discuss. Hopefully you are still here, not in Bardo, yeah? Hopefully you are not in dream yoga, yeah? Okay. So now the 5 Buddha family will start to appear, And this is also to purify our 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates, the one we call suffering, heap of suffering. Okay? And that all these 5 aggregate or 5 poison will transform into 5 different wisdom of Buddhas, 5 Buddha family.
那么在
Actually written everything down. Maybe when next time when you have a book, then it's much more clear. I mean, much more in detail. Because if I put everything in my slides, then probably you may have to spend overnight here. So what I did is, make it short. So now to begin with the central Buddha, called Vairochana Buddha, white in color with a consort. When you see the picture, you recognize they appear in front of us. And during the same time, what happens is our aggregate of consciousness, our consciousness purifies. When our consciousness purifies, it turns into sharp, bright blue light will appear in our space. Blue light. Sharp blue light.
那么首先
So this is the color of Dharmata, color of Dharmata, the truth, the color of truth. So when this light appears, the Vairochana white in color and this blue light appear, they are very sharp, very terrifying, very bright. Like as if that it's going to pierce your eye. So that kind of feeling you tend to have. So whatever the feeling you may have, it is very important to follow wholeheartedly this light. Because it says that due to our ignorance, also a white, more smoothing light of human God realm will also come to invite us. And if you follow the dim, soft light of God realm, God realm, then what white light, then you will reborn in the God realm. So not to follow the light, dim light, white light, but the brightest that you have to follow. So make sure that when family does how to ask them to also buy sunglasses. So now, okay, you need to follow the light of Vairochana, and if you follow the light of Vairochana, you will reborn as a Sambhogakaya Buddha. Okay, Sambhogakaya Buddha, which means you will obtain the body of joy. It goes up to 49 days. So on the second day, what happens is when the water element is purifying, what one will see is the whole white light brighten the whole place. And that very moment, one will also see Akshobhya Buddha, blue in color, with a consort. As you can't see the slide. Can you see the slide? Sorry. Okay. Never mind. I think when you have a book, it's okay. I'm just explaining. Lokana Sangye Chama. This is the consort with the 4 male and female bodhisattva: Siddhigarbha, Maitreya Buddha, Lakshama, and Pushpema. So all these 6 entourage will appear in front of us and try to invite us to their respective pyramid.
对不起啊，在这
So now, so all these deities, what is important is one has to see in the more translucent form, not like a physical body, okay? A translucent form.
所以当我们
What happens is, when our form, earlier is a consciousness, now is the form. When our form, body is purified, it becomes transformed into the wisdom of one of the five wisdom of Buddha family, known as mirror-like wisdom, mirror-like wisdom, okay, and which actually really is from the heart of Akchobya Buddha. So now, during this time, 41, what happens is not just the blue light that we need to follow, and at the same time, due to our anger and hatred, the smoky dim black light of hell realm, will also come to invite us. And many times what happens is because the light of Buddha is so strong, so powerful, we try to run away. You know, even today I keep hearing from many students, you know, when they say, oh, ZK Rinpoche, Han Sipe is compassion. Han Sipe, oh, always smiling, I love, oh, ZK Rinpoche, Han Shong. So you try to run away from good Rinpoche sometimes, yeah? Han Shong. So this is what happens during even the hell realm. I mean, in Bardo. So you follow the blue light of Akchobya Buddha, not the smoky dim black light of hell realm, yeah? We have to constantly remind ourselves and pray wholeheartedly. You know, don't just pray. You know, it has to come from your heart, because the moment you lose focus, then you may miss the opportunity. So make sure that you are fully focused. You know. Now, during this third day, what happens? Ratna Sambhava Buddha will appear on the third day. Okay, so which is in yellow color with the consort. And during this time, what happens is when the earth element is fully purified, the whole space will be brightened by the yellow color. And this is the color that we need to follow wholeheartedly. Yellow color. Not yellow color. No, yeah. This time, I will just say the names. You may not remember, but it's okay. With a consort, 2 male and female bodhisattvas will also follow. Akshoka Garba, Samantapatra, Malama, and Dubima. I know it's difficult to remember all these names. It's okay. When you have the book, you will have it all. So all these Buddha actually will appear one after another in front of you to invite you. So the most important part of you to remember is to follow the most strongest light, which is yellow color, wholeheartedly. The moment you follow the light, or you may say, I merge with the Ratna Sambhava, instantly you will be invited to their respective Pure Land, and you become a Sambhogakaya Buddha. Finally, when our feeling is purified, remove all the obscuration, then this will transform into one of the wisdom called wisdom of equality. Wisdom of equality, one of the 5 wisdom of Buddha. And because what happens is because of a pride, we have the strong habitual tendency. Therefore, the soft blue light of human being also come to invite you. So you make sure that you don't follow the light of human being, because next time again I have to see you here. I'd rather see you in Amitabha Pure Land, okay? If somehow if you are not able to follow the light, not able to follow the deities, you just need to recognize that these are all the projection of our mind, and they're here to invite us, to liberate us. Then you can remember your yidams. You can remember Konsing Pusa, Amitabha Buddha. They are also able to liberate you from Bardo. And you can also pray to your gurus, okay? but make sure that your guru is not fake. Because when you're in Bardo, if you pray to guru, then when you look next at the right, your guru may be together in Bardo. Guru may ask you, how about me? So that's the third day. Now the fourth day, what happens is when the fire elements is fully purified, it transforms the whole space in front of us into a red color.
那么当第四呢，就是火大。当我们要
And probably you know, and this is the time that Amitabha Buddha will appear in red in color with a consort known as Pandaravasini, and with the four male and female bodhisattvas, Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, and Aloka and Gendema. All the names, never mind if you can't remember, it's okay. So when you have the book, then you have everything there, so it's okay for you, okay?
那么这个
Okay, so what happens is during this same moment, you know, like a body, feeling, now consciousness, now is the perception. Perception will purify and it becomes the wisdom of discrimination, one of the wisdom of Buddha, which appears in very intense red in color. So what you need to do is just follow the bright red light.
那这个呢，就是
Okay, now during this time, again, you know, what happens is the light of friendly light of hungry ghost realm, a soft dim yellow light of 48 light of hungry ghost realm also come to invite you. So you should not follow. So the light, what you see, if it's powerful, you follow. If not, such as dim, soft light, you shouldn't follow. This is the light of hungry ghost, so you should try to run away.
那么另外
Now, finally, we are coming to the last Buddha, which is Amoghasiddhi Buddha. The fifth day, one will see Amoghasiddhi Buddha. And during this time, what happens is, when the wind element, when it's purified, our body is made of 4 elements. So each time when the element is purified, this slowly transforming our body into different Buddhas. So what happens is the green color light, it becomes a powerful green color light that will fill up the whole space, and which is also the color of Amoghasiddhi Buddha with the consort Samayatara and Vajrapani, Duba, Ninsal, and then also Gandhima, Nivindema. All these 6 Buddha, whole entourage will appear in front of us. So you should just follow the strong, sharp, bright green color in order to be liberated by this Buddha. Okay.
那么第五
50. Okay. So during this time, what happens is this also the light is like our concept, aggregate of concept. When it's purified, it also transforms into green light. So basically, you just need to follow the strong, bright green light in order to be liberated.
所以呢，这个也是跟我们
To jealousy, the red light of demigod also appears, which is smoothing, soft, dim, and many times because we are afraid of such a bright light, we tend to follow the smooth light. Again, this will lead us to demigod realm, whichever among the 6 realms, if we are born, there is so much of suffering. So we should try to avoid all these 6 realms, the light of 6 realms. So simply follow the light of 5 Buddha family, which are bright, sharp, and strong and brilliant. Okay. So briefly, I have discussed the Bardo of Dharmata, and almost all the peaceful deities. And tomorrow I will share the wrongful deities, discussion about wrongful deities. So now I would like to leave it here, and you can see the slide. These are the color and what we so far we have discussed. And if you have any questions, now you can ask me. Okay?
那么
I know this part is like a bit difficult, but then it's a part of the discussion I must share with you. So when you have the book, then you will be much more clearer. Unfortunately, this time we only have a few books. Actually, the book is already ready. We have re-edited this book, and it looks very different from the last one. And in this book, all the information are complete. Everything is there. And very soon our center will have this book. There are some here, and they make some mistakes, so we are not reprinting this. We are again editing, and very soon we will also have on Amazon, so you can have it. Okay.
现在你们看，
If it's according to Bardo total, yes, everybody has to go through. This is the super highway. So no matter what kind of form that you are in, human or hungry ghost, most likely everybody. But this is basic, animal definitely. But this is basically referred to human experience for 49 days. Yeah. According to Bardo total, everyone actually goes through same experiences, same kind of experiences. But then, many may not recognize, because they may recognize the deities. Probably they will just see the shapes or different individuals, but they may not recognize. But if it's strictly according to Bardo, then everybody will see the same thing. But then sometimes it's difficult to say. Like there is a very well-known scholar, Tibetan scholar known as Gendi Chudal. He said that it was very interesting. He said Buddha was born in India, so this is how Buddha looked like now. And he said, suppose Buddha was born in China, probably Buddha would be wearing that, the emperor, what do you call that? The long sleeve with the bearded, Buddha may look different. So, it's hard to say, It's not so clear. Sorry. Definitely it will help. Definitely we have to keep reminding the deceased person. Yeah, deceased person. So there's a tradition in Tibet until 49 days. Suppose if the family can afford, they will have prayers every day. If the family cannot afford, then every week, the day the person died, have one ceremony. And basically, until the physical body is present, we do Bardo total, and after the body is burned, then we recite other prayers. So not just if she cannot follow the light of Buddha, remind them about Amitabha Buddha, remind them of Konshin Pusa and Devguru, you will still help them. Because the being in Bardo, they are 9 times smarter than us, and they are in such a difficult situation. They are always looking for opportunities to escape from such environment. So they are always waiting, how to escape. So any chances given to them, they will take it and they will run away. Yeah, that's also true. The moment if somehow the person is the conscious is not able to follow the advice, and if the prayers are not offered, there's a danger of consciousness following the demon light, and they may rebound in lower realms.
So Bardo ends before 49 days when you choose a demon.
Yeah. So actually, 49 days are kept arranged for general most people. Actually, most people go through 49 days, but some people may not go through 49 days. Like for instance, if the person is well practiced, this person even doesn't have to go through Bardos. If the person is very evil, the moment you die, you will, according to Bardo told you, you were instantly reborn in lower realms.
Right. So one actually depending on how good or how evil you are. So Bardo could actually end sooner than.
Yeah. You know, like for instance, in the middle somewhere, if you recognize this, during the 5th day, if you recognize the Buddha family, and if you follow, you have already end the Bardo training. Yeah?
But on the 5th day, you follow the Dima light. It's also God's case.
Pardon?
If on the 5th day, if the practitioner or the Bardo being follow the Dima light, he will then take rebirth.
There's a danger, if you say strictly according to Bardo, there's danger of reborning one of the 6 realms.
Okay, and that can happen on the 5th day.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You know, there's a story, Dupakuli is a well-known yogi in Bhutan. You know, probably if you go to see, read his biography, he sounds very crazy, but he's not crazy, you know. Some of his teachings are very interesting. You know, he said one day, there's a small river, and summer it gets very big, and in winter it's become very small. So there's a village nearby. So every time when he crosses the river, when the river is small, he removes all his clothes and try to cross the river. But when the river is very large, when it becomes very large, he doesn't remove his clothes. He just walk through and get wet, So a lot of people laugh at him, He says that you are crazy, when the river is when it gets large, you should remove your clothes. You do opposite way, He said, no, that's how you practice. This is how you practice, big thing like big samayas, you never bother, you just somehow, just step on and you move on. And with a small, I may not say small crime, then you try to be very frightened. Oh, this is crime, I don't want to do. But on the other side, you do all the bad things, So it's very interesting. There are many other such stories. So he said one day he was in Lhasa. He's a playboy and he's able to be, he's a highly enlightened guru. So he was walking and he saw one of the Bardo being who happened to be monk in his previous life and supposed to be a very good debater, good debater. So he was about to enter donkey's womb. So he said, Dupakuli, no, don't enter that womb. This is a donkey, you will become a donkey. He said, no, this is not a donkey, this is an Amitabha Pyoga, So when he entered the donkey's womb, then of course you become a donkey, So there are many such dangers that we keep facing, This is during the last discussion we will share how to make sure that we don't choose the donkey womb. Like one of my students who speaks Tibetan, he's a PhD from Harvard. He reads all like Tibetan, English, Chinese, and also Sanskrit. So he kept this book of that in Tibetan, and then he used my English book, and he went through one by one. He said that almost identical, almost very same, so it's a lot of detail, it's very clear, but unfortunately, I think this time we only have a few books, so it's very soon we'll have it center, so you can have it, okay? But I guarantee you'll be still around. Okay, if not, I don't know. Okay, so if nothing more, then we'd like to leave it here, yeah? Huh? Okay, anyway, we need to make sure that we book a ticket to Amitabh Bapyo now.
Okay, dedication for the
Thế có mấy cái chuyện này, sáng mà nó mà chuyện thì làm cái, em mà sáng mà nó mà chuyện thì
다들 좀
nó mà ta tưởng sao? That's all for tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, and have a good rest. Thank you so much.
请大家注意一下，明天早上。